Hey everyone. During my 100 subscriber video, I pitched or talked about some new video ideas that I thought I was going to do, and today we're going to do the first one. We're going to look at some hockey cards. I have loads and loads of hockey cards from all different time periods and all different teams. So I figured I just pulled out one of my many binders of cards here, and I pulled some out that I thought were pretty cool and that I thought were worth looking at. So to start, I have some really cool rookie cards from 1992-93 of a few really good players here. So first, Michael Nylander, here so you guys can see this. Michael Nylander is a Hartford Whaler. This was before he even played a game in the NHL. And obviously Hartford is not a team anymore. They moved to Carolina, but thought this was a really cool card, and now, especially now, because Nylander has, his son's playing professional hockey with William in Toronto and Alex in Buffalo. So that's a pretty cool card, I think. And interesting, he was taken 59th overall. So that's pretty deep in the draft for a player as good as Michael Nylander became. Next up, another guy with kids in the NHL, or going to be in the NHL soon, is Keith Tkachuk, who originally with the Winnipeg Jets, played other places after that, but originally a Jet, the old Jets franchise, which is now the Arizona Coyotes. The new Jets were the Atlanta Thrashers, but yeah, Tkachuk was a fantastic player. I remember him towards the end of his career when he was playing in St. Louis. I can remember him playing. Fantastic power forward, guy who could fight, very physical, but also could put up a ton of points. Really a old school hockey player. And he was taken in the first round, 19th overall, in 1990. But his rookie year was 92-93. And again, there's no stats on these because this is before they even ever played a game. And the last really cool one that was just sitting in this book, Darius Kasparaitis with the New York Islanders. When I think of Kasparaitis, I think more of the Dallas Stars and then the Philadelphia Flyers. I don't think of him as an Islander, but he was drafted 5th overall in 1992 by the New York Islanders. And he was a really good defenseman. I remember him playing as well. I remember all three of these guys towards the end of their careers. But I remember Kasparaitis mostly as a Philadelphia Flyer, and kind of him introducing Sidney Crosby to the NHL with some rough play, but very good defenseman. And this is obviously a really cool card to have him as an Islander, because that's not the team that he is most associated with. This card is not a rookie card, but it's still when he was very young, so it's really cool. Joe Sakic on the Quebec Nordiques. This is obviously before Quebec became Colorado, and Sakic is now the GM of the Colorado Avalanche. And he played his whole career with this franchise. But Sakic's one of my all-time favorite players. When I was a kid, like a real young kid in the Avalanche, I was a huge Avalanche fan, mostly around the 2001 Stanley Cup, because I wanted Ray Bourque to get a cup so bad. But I loved the rest of the team too, guys like Adam Foote, Rob Blake, Alex Tanguay, Peter Forsberg, and Milan Hajduk, and obviously Joe Sakic. he's one of my all-time favorite players. And this card, 91. So this was after the 91-92 season, so it's 92-93 card. So Sakic's a couple years into the league at this point. The year 91-92, he only played 69 games, but he still had 94 points in 69 games. So, fantastic player, and one of my all-time favorites. Next up here, we have a Hall of Fame card. This is really cool. It's Stan Mikita, and this obviously is from after his retirement by quite a bit. Assuming that all these cards are from the early 90s, this group that I have. But this is a Hall of Famer Stan Mikita card. Has the years that he played, 1958 until 1980. And on the back here, it just you can't see it on here because of the lighting, but it has his career stats. It doesn't have year by year. It just has career stats. 22 seasons, 1,394 games played. He scored 541 goals, 926 assists for 1,467 points. So he had more than a point per game over the course of his career, and he also had 1,270 penalty minutes. So that was a back in a time in the 60s and 70s where even if you were a star player, you still picked up penalty minutes. You had to play tough no matter who you were. So those are some really cool cards. And now I had quite a bunch of really interesting goalie cards in this group, and these are some big name goaltenders here. So here is Patrick Waugh from his days in Montreal. This card is also from 92-93, so not a rookie card or anything obviously, but really cool card from the early 90s before he asked for a trade and got shipped to Colorado. Another one, great. I love the Whalers. Their jerseys are fantastic. It's a shame that they couldn't cut it in the league. But Sean Burke, really good goalie in his day, and obviously here he's playing for one of the coolest teams in NHL history. I think the Hartford Whalers. Their jerseys and colors and everything was just superb. It's too bad they couldn't put a more consistently good team on the ice, but Sean Burke's one of those. He's not one of the top tier goalies that everyone talks about as being how great he was, but he was still a very, very good goalie. Here's Grant Fuhr. This card's from the early 90s, but it has the stats on the back going all the way back to 86, 87. Obviously because he was the goalie during the Oilers dynasty, he's one of the most well-known goaltenders in NHL history. He has a bunch of Stanley Cups. He was very, very good. He wasn't an elite goaltender though, because he didn't have to be, because the Oilers, their offense was so insane that he didn't have to shut the other team out every night. He could give up 5 goals and the Oilers would score 8. So he's not up there with guys like Martin Brodeur and Patrick Waugh as far as elite greatest goalie of all time, but he is one of the best of all time because of the Stanley Cups, and he was very, very good. But he's just a notch below guys like Brodeur and Waugh and Hasek, guys like that. Yeah, you look. I know the game's totally different, now than it was back then. But his goals against average was over 3 every year, and obviously that's in the 80s when you didn't see goals against averages like you do now at 2.3, 2.4. That was just that. Didn't really happen that often. There were just way more goals scored. Another one here from 92-93. This is one's really interesting. I think it's Ron Tugnutt, but as an Oiler. And I don't think many people associate Ron Tugnutt with the Oilers. I think of him as a Quebec Nordique personally, but this is after he got traded from Quebec to the Oilers, and it was on March 10th, 1992. He was traded to the Oilers, and this is a card from him as an Oiler, which is, I think, really, really cool and interesting. But wow, he was struggling at this point. 91-92, he only played 33 games. His goals against average was over 4, so that just shows you again, how different the game was scoring wise back then. You wouldn't even be remotely, you wouldn't be in the AHL if your goals against average was over 4 nowadays. And last one, another fantastic goaltender. This isn't a rookie card, but it's still very early on in his career. Eddie Belfour as a Chicago Blackhawk. This card's from 92-93 as well. I remember Belfour towards the end of his career, but obviously through the 90s he was one of the top goalies in the league, and just a fantastic goaltender. So those are some of the goalie cards that I've got. I'll do more videos like this for sure. I'm gonna wrap this one up for now, but I've got tons and tons of cards. I've got team sets. I've got newer players. A lot of these I was doing players from the 90s, and I've got some new ones, more modern guys like Mike Modano here, John LeClaire, Thomas Cabriolet. I have more modern cards too. So I'll definitely do more videos like this, but this one I just wanted to do as a start. So thank you guys very much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe, follow on social media. All those links in the description. The website links in the description. Just keep this channel growing up to 106 subscribers now. I'm really happy about that. Thank you guys so much again for watching, and talk to you soon.